Good morning, and welcome to Missoula Real Estate Today. This is Denny Bedard. Missoula Real Estate Today is presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck & Beck team at Windermere Real Estate. Beck & Beck provide complete service for your real estate transaction and bring you guests who provide interesting information about products and services available in our community. And now, Missoula Real Estate Today on News Talk KGVO. Hey, great to have you on board this weekend, and we're going to warm up to fire pits this week on Missoula Real Estate Today. It's pretty cool. First-time guest, Jonathan Howie. Jonathan is the owner of Montana Fire Pits. He's based here in Missoula. Welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
And
Happy to be here.
And I understand you could have walked over to our studios from
right.
Right?
When you Google Map, you're like, oh, I'm a half a block away. Yep.
We're neighbors and didn't even know. Well, let's get better acquainted with Montana Fire Pits. Jonathan, your background and what led you to starting up Montana Fire Pits?
So my background short story is that I've always been involved in a career of 25 plus years in one capacity or another in architecture, construction, residential, commercial, architectural products, all of that. So my career path has been in the industry. So then Montana Fire Pits was the very specific niche within a huge industry that right time, right place, right product, right manufacturers, right everything, and here we are. 10 years. This is our 10th year.
Right, yep. Right. What told you there was that potentially great market for products that you carry in this area?
It was 10 years ago. Outdoor gas fire features were still relatively new, still relatively kind of kitschy, because you needed to bury a gas line and all of this. And I really just kind of guessed at the opportunity. And and then a lot of hard work, and 10 years later, and here we are, and we've made a living out of it.
Yeah. You're my first guest to ever use kitschy. That means you get to come back just based on that. That's nice. That's awesome. What are some of the more common inquiries you receive? You've got such a product line, and we'll do a deeper dive on that. But what are potential customers maybe coming to you looking for?
Outdoor fire. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
At its core, it's a really, really simple and primal thing that we're all after. Fire. And that is everybody likes to sit around a fire.
Sure.
Ours happens to be gas that you can turn on and turn off. And it's smokeless. So that really is what they're coming to us for. And they'll come to us at any kind of point in that conversation. They're in the middle of a giant backyard renovation. They want a little portable unit for camping. They want to put one on their back deck but don't want to bury a gas line. It's kind of all of those things. So they'll come to us and just ask away. Where do I start?
Isn't it amazing, and this is probably not lost on you, you've been in this biz for 10 years, that you sell a product that you can just sit and stare at for hours on end.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It doesn't get old for me, right? And now we have plenty of friends around town that that they have our product, and we joke that there's life before a Montana Fire Pit and life after a Montana Fire Pit.
That's a great testimonial.
But yeah, right. Just because it's so fun, you could sit around for hours and just have some laughs and listen to music and stare at the fire.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Missoula Real Estate Today is presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck & Beck team at Windermere Real Estate here on News Talk KGVO. My guest, Jonathan Howie, owner of Montana Fire Pits. And the process, Jonathan, somebody contacts you and would like an estimate or an assessment of the desired area for a fire pit. A lot goes into this, obviously.
Yeah.
Where do we go from there?
So when people contact us, first of all, people will go to our website because we've created a website, hopefully, that answers 99% of people's questions.
Right.
Because it is a complex process. You think, well, the end result is staring at a flame. But to get there is fairly involved. We'll just walk them through kind of what the desired effect is at the end, and that comes down to how big is your space, how many people do you want to entertain, how often are you entertaining, what seasons do you want to operate it in? Mm-hmm. Is it part of a larger project? All these kind of clarifying questions we'll ask to get to, well, here's the product that I think is going to work.
Yeah, and I suppose space is an issue too. Some are larger than others.
Some are larger than others, yeah. So somebody can say, well, I have a 20 by 20 concrete patio and I've buried my gas line and I'm ready. Okay. I have just a 10 by 12 elevated deck, right? Two entirely different projects,
for sure,
but still they're after the same effect. And we design and produce all of our own units. So after 10 years, we've kind of figured out a product that sort of fits into every one of those scenarios.
I did give myself a tour of the website. These are just extremely beautiful and so artistic. They're absolutely amazing. Is that why you wanted to offer as many choices as possible?
Yes.
I mean, you don't want to get people to have dizzy spells looking at too many of them, but you've got to have, to your point a moment ago about space and all of that.
It's true, because there's so many variables, but it's interesting that we've created a system by which the ultimate desire is, how big of a fire do you want? How many people do you plan on sitting around this thing? And how big is your space? And then you just sort of work outwards or inwards to determine, do you need like a completely turnkey unit? Are you going to build your own and maybe you just need the burner, the guts inside? So hopefully we have something for everybody.
Yeah. Well, about those choices of Montana fire pits, I guess I should ID my guest here. Missoula Real Estate today, presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate here on News Talk KGVO. My guest, Jonathan Howie, owner, Montana Fire Pits. All right, about those choices, Jonathan, let's go over some of the many products you offer, fire systems, styles, differences among them. I saw what? Venture, gather, arbor. There's a lot to look at.
There's a lot, yeah.
Talk about those.
So it starts with, I mentioned before, it starts with a burner. Okay, so that's we call it 3 areas that we encompass. It is components, by which you're just coming to us from a burner because maybe you built your own fire pit and you just need the guts inside. Complete systems, which is, here's our space, Jonathan, we want you to deliver it to our driveway, and we'll take care of the hookup, and we just need this turnkey, complete unit. And then the third thing is custom. You know what, Jonathan? I have a custom space. I'm a custom kind of person. We want you to design it for us.
That's it.
And that's it.
That's it. You take it from there.
And so then there's also materials in there that people are going to, then there's just a desired look, because ultimately you're shopping for a almost like this legacy piece of furniture that's going to stay. It's going to stay with your home. Most of our fire features require a gas line to be buried, hard line.
Yeah.
So it's a lengthy and careful consideration, because this thing is going to be a fixture in the backyard. So then we talk about the material, the shape. Do you want it round, rectangle, or square? Right? Let's start there. What kind of furniture what kind of furniture package have you specified? Things like that.
Yeah. What about, I'm sure you get asked a lot about, okay, Jonathan, how safe is a Montana fire pit?
Yeah.
What are the safety issues? Not that it's going to get installed or you're going to sell something dangerous, but is this what do I need to do to be sure that it's a safe part of my patio living space?
So excellent question. Montana Fire Pits sells the unit at the end. Okay, we do not install.
Right.
Okay. So the very first safety consideration is you will have a licensed plumber and contractor who's licensed in gas do the final installation. Okay, that's the first safety thing. Beyond that, There are safety features. Some are built in. We have electronic ignition that you can literally flip a switch and turn this fire on and flip a switch and turn the fire off. There's backup safety mechanisms built into that make sure gas isn't flowing and all that. So it's a safe product. Gas on, gas off.
Other products and services that you offer, you've got what all I see there. I saw outdoor furniture. If you could talk about that a little bit, paver kits, the lighting, etc. I'll just let you go.
Yeah. So kind of the progress over the last 10 years is we started just carrying the burners, just carrying the components. And then the market and our clientele sort of just demanded that we sort of create these complete systems. And then now that we have the complete fire system, we recently brought on a line of furniture because it's an absolutely essential key part of any outdoor planning. If you're planning a patio project, not only is the fire the center point, you got to have a place to sit. So we vetted and we interviewed and we found kind of this one supplier of the outdoor furniture that we liked, that kind of meets our quality standards. So now we can sort of take this blank slate of a patio and help you design the whole thing.
And so just so I'm not going down the wrong trail here, make sure for my own clarification, Montana Fire Pits, your business, you can do design work there. Am I correct?
We can to a certain extent, right? So we're not landscape designers. We're not going to do full blown sets of plans, but we can help you plan the space. Absolutely,
for sure.
Yep.
Alrighty. How you've been with us 10 years now? How have technology and products changed in those 10 years you've been doing this? Any recent updates you're particularly excited about? Gadgets, doodads, things like that?
The most exciting thing is when we started designing and fabricating our own systems right here in Missoula. So within 10 years, the first 6 years, it was my wife and I out of home running an e-commerce business to where everything, we had vendors and manufacturers and things were drop shipped. In 2021, we got some space right over here on McDonald Avenue, kind of behind Paradise Falls. We bought some equipment, plasma table and some welders. We hired some welders and we started designing and fabricating our own complete steel tables. And since 2021, that business alone has grown leaps and bounds. I mean, just year to date, we're 200% over last year. And this is just in 12 months because we are at a place now that we can design, iterate, innovate our own units. And it really is just an absolutely fantastic place to be as creative people, as fabricators, as e-commerce people, as just business people. It's so fun.
That's got to be terribly rewarding for you, doesn't it? Not only to have the ability and the talent to create something like that, but then just to see the customer response and reaction you're getting.
It's extraordinary. Because not only that is that when it was just my wife and I, and she and I still run it every day, we now have a staff of 15 full-time. So the greatest joy for us comes in giving people jobs.
Sure.
Creating this work environment and just building this business. It's like an entrepreneur's dream. It's not without a boatload of hard work, but if that's your thing, then we'll do it.
You found your niche. You found your calling there.
We found the thing that works.
Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate, here on News Talk KGVO. And my guest this week, Jonathan Howie, owner of Montana Fire Pits. Also thank you to a couple of Diane and Becky's marketing partners that help bring you the program as well. Miles Link at Opportunity Bank of Montana and Rob Fleming with Man Mortgage. And back to Jonathan Howie with Montana Fire Pits. training qualifications, certification, etc.? What makes yours a fire pit business people can trust?
Right. I think it's just expertise in such a specific niche. And again, certification, since all of the components that we used are certified by a manufacturer, right? So the burner, the guts, we still buy that from an outside manufacturer, and all of their units are certified to kind of these strict standards nationwide, so that we know that when we put that fire inside, it's a certified and absolutely safe unit. Not only that, it's a lifetime warranty because it's brass construction. So then locally, we're just producing the vessel by which that burner goes into.
Another good word. I like that.
Yeah. And then, of course, the installation is through a qualified licensed contractor. So,
what makes one burner better or different than another burner? You go from burner to burner on these things.
How big of a fire do you want?
Okay.
That's what it is. So typically when you might go to a big box store, and I'm going to throw out some jargon here. Typically, those are 60,000 BTUs. Okay, a BTU is just a rate of measurement. Okay, 60,000 is not very many for an outside fire feature that you need to create a nice tall flame, that you need to actually produce heat. So our burners they start at 60,000, but we will go up to 500,000 BTUs. So the answer to your question is how big of a fire do you want? Which goes back to how many people around this thing? How many seasons do you want? How big is your space? Sure. It all kind of leads back to how big of a fire do you want?
Yeah. What about energy efficiency? Is there a lot of, I guess in terms of dollars and cents, a lot of regular upkeep to these?
There's not a lot of maintenance.
No?
Nope. Like I said, the burners we use are certified and lifetime, right? The way that and patented, right? So that the way these burners are engineered, they effectively produce twice the flame with roughly half of the fuel usage. And that's through the actual design of the burners and nuts and bolts and things like that. But it's a fairly efficient process to which, and these are natural gas or propane. Okay, and the question we always get is, well, how is it going to affect my bill?
Yeah.
That's a relative question because it's like asking, well, how much is a hot tub going to add to my electric bill? I mean, if you want an outdoor gas fire feature, it's not going to add hundreds to your bill, but the enjoyment that you get out of it is far worth it.
There's a sales pitch. Yeah, wow. Right. Wow, you need to do some radio advertising with that, Jonathan. The more you pay, the more it's worth, man. That's the what's the biggest job you've ever taken on at Montana Fire Pit?
Oh, we are sort of in Big Sky. So kind of in our backyard. We provided 15 matching 55-inch tables to the Spanish Peaks Lodge.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a job.
It was amazing. So we got to make 15 of the same thing, but we got through the entire process of interior designers and project managers and specification and contractors and delivering and all of that. But all of that was easy for me because that's kind of how I've made my career, in this industry. But now we're getting opportunities outside the state for large projects of 70 units plus and things like that, because you have these developers that now add a fire feature as an option to a home. So if they're in the middle of a development, they'll add this option. So then we're getting into some quantity work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just take a wild guess here. Some of that has to be because of referrals. It sounds to me like you might be living right based on satisfied customers.
We try to do. We just try to run the business with integrity, and I know that those are just words to a lot. Everybody can say that, but if you just look at our Google rating, it's crowd 100 at 5 stars. So, and these are over 10 years. We estimate I mean, even though Missoula is primary, we do distribute nationwide. So after 10 years, we have over 15,000 fires burning. So, and when something should go wrong, because things go wrong, we make it right.
Yeah, that kind of leads to my next question here. Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate, here on News Talk KGVO. My guest, Jonathan Howie, owner of Montana Fire Pits. And we touched on this a little bit, but you're not the install guy, Jonathan, but you're going to get asked advice, obviously.
Sure. Yeah.
What are some of the key components to maintenance and upkeep? How can you help your customers take care of their fire pits once the job is done? Because this is an investment that you want to last for a really long time.
Sure, yeah. It's funny. The one thing that we say is to cover it.
Okay.
And it may seem like an elementary sort of thing, but especially in Montana, we have so many months of winter.
Yeah, few too many, but
that you need to keep this thing covered.
Okay.
And beyond that, I mean, there's not much maintenance. These things are fairly maintenance-free. Our units are all powder-coated steel, powder-coated right here in the Bitterroot Valley, so they're built to last.
Yeah.
The burners are lifetime. The powder-coated unit is not going to rust. Aside from just keeping the snow off it in the wintertime, you can go use it.
Okay, well, let me be the dumb radio guy. Why is that so important?
What's that?
Keeping it covered like that.
Oh, because any moisture, if you have snow sitting on it through the winter, then that moisture potentially can just get down into, they're called jets.
Okay.
The thing that makes the fire, we have these little things sticking up out of it. They're called jets.
Yeah.
So you just want to prevent the moisture from getting down into the jets.
All right.
And if you have electronic ignition, electronics and outdoors in Montana, keep it protected.
Yeah, I told you it was a duh question, but I wanted to ask it. Okay, I think you mentioned a staff of 15 at Montana Fire Pits, but I'd love for you to talk about, because you are obviously just very, very passionate about not only this product, but your crew, your wife included in there naturally, but the team you've assembled, who does what to keep Montana Fire Pits humming.
So we have, over the last year, we've sort of been able to separate fabrication from our business operations. So on the business operations, we have web development, e-commerce, inbound sales, professional sales. So these are interior designers and architects and contractors and builders and developers. All of that inbound, because effectively we're an e-commerce company. But then on the fabrication side, we have 6 full-time there, 4 fabricators, a production manager, and we build our own crates. We have trucks coming and going daily, and just shipping these things out. So it's been just incredible to see this robust thing grow.
Yeah, that is magnificent in 10 years. Congratulations. You're probably continuing to look to expand, and is it a fairly, if you were to try to add staff today, a fairly specialized field? Who might you be looking for?
So it's interesting you say that, because we're constantly in the middle of improving the business systems, because we are growing, and we always are looking at our org chart, and we're always planning for the future. My job now is to kind of live a year to 2 years down the road. So the jobs we are looking for is like web development specialty, and integration, sales, always, whether that's inside sales or outbound pro sales, customer service, and kind of that fabrication. If our volume keeps growing, then you just need skilled guys.
Pretty much runs the gamut there.
Yep, it does.
Well, you gave a great example with Big Sky, but I always love to ask my guests. I ask every guest about success stories. Besides the wonderful example you gave, any project or projects you've completed that have given you some extra satisfaction?
I think it is whenever we do get to do something for a homeowner that just kind of ends up being special. I mean, there is not one, because we get to see so many incredible homes. Yeah. And this is from Big Sky to Bozeman to Whitefish to Missoula and sort of this area. But I think the satisfaction comes is when you just get to see something installed and you see furniture around it and you actually go get to sit with those people around their fire. That's kind of cool, because as a product provider, often you don't get to sit around the fire that you installed. So it doesn't happen very often, but sometimes we get to sit around the fire with our clients, and that's kind of cool.
Oh, well said. Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate here on News Talk KGVO. My guest, Jonathan Howie, owner of Montana Fire Pits. Is there anything, Jonathan, I've missed that you want to make sure we touch bases on here in the final couple minutes?
It is interesting that even though we're a Missoula business, we don't have a showroom, right? Okay. So if there's any listeners out there,
you want a showroom?
The first step is just go to the website.
Okay.
And you'll start to learn everything, and you'll start to go through this process. And then by all means, we have visitors kind of stopping into our facility, but we'll be happy to meet with people by appointment, to walk them in, to show them around. It's not a glamorous, beautiful showroom, but there's something to that when we do have customers walk in, they are walking into the middle of kind of a fabrication shop, and they're getting to see this stuff happen. So that's really cool.
Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson of Windermere Real Estate on News Talk KGVO. My guest, Jonathan Howie, owner of Montana Fire Pits. And you have been an amazing guest. You've done a great job here. So your free commercial, I guess the whole thing's a free commercial. We don't charge you to be on this show, Jonathan. But why should people choose Montana Fire Pits?
Longevity in the industry, and we are experts. That's it. If you need confidence, and I think you need confidence in something like this, you want to go to a company that knows what the heck they're talking about.
Absolutely.
That's us.
All right.
Yep.
And the best way to find out more is what?
The website.
Okay.
Easy. MontanaFirePits.com.
That'll get you there.
Yep. And start poking around.
Yeah, you bet. I did. It's extensive. There's lots to see and just some beautiful images in there. Jonathan Howie, owner of Montana Fire Pits, this week's guest on Missoula Real Estate Today. I'm glad you could come in. I hope you can come back sometime.
I'm thrilled. Thanks for the invite.
Thank you for listening to Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate. For current listings and services Beck and Beck provide, visit MoveToMissoula.com. That's Missoula.com. We'll see you next time on Missoula Real Estate Today.
We're Beck and Beck with Windermere Real Estate, and we're really proud to sponsor the Grizzlies. I'm Becky Peterson.
And I'm Diane Beck. We have over 40 years of experience in the real estate industry.
It's the people that drive us and the relationships that we create that have made real estate our passion.
We were both born and raised in Montana and understand the changing market conditions.
It's that knowledge that we will bring to your next real estate transaction. When you think of home, think of Beck and Beck, and contact Becky Peterson or Diane Beck at Windermere Real Estate.
Every weekend, Diane Beck and Becky Peterson, the Beck and Beck team at Windermere Real Estate, present Missoula Real Estate Today on News Talk KGVO. The Beck and Beck team provides years of local experience for your real estate transaction and bring you guests that provide useful information on products and services available in our community on Missoula Real Estate Today. Saturday mornings from 8 till 8:30 and replayed Sunday mornings from 10:30 till 11 on News Talk KGVO, FM 98.3 and AM 1290, and on the free KGVO mobile app.